Welcome to Torah in the Kingdom of God. Today's Torah portion is Vayishlach, which means and he sent. And it's Jacob wanting to appease his brother Esau. So Jacob went on his way, and the angels of God met him. Then Jacob sent messengers before him to Esau his brother in the land of Seir, the country of Edom. And he commanded them, saying, Speak thus to my lord Esau. Thus your servant Jacob says, I have dwelt with Laban and stayed there until now. I have oxen, donkeys, flocks, and male and female servants. And I have sent to tell you, my lord, that I may find favor in your sight. So it had been many years since Jacob had seen his brother Esau, and they had never reconciled the problems between them. Basically, as you know from past Torah portions, how Jacob had deceived Esau and gained his birthright and the blessings, which should have been his. But in Ephesians 4:32 it says, Be kind to one another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, as God in Messiah forgave you. So Jacob is going to be put to the test. It says, Then the messengers returned to Jacob, saying, We came to your brother Esau, and he is also coming to meet you, and 400 men are with him. So Jacob was greatly afraid and distressed, and he divided the people that were with him, and the flocks and herds and camels, into 2 companies. And he said, If Esau comes to the one company and attacks it, then the other company which is left perhaps will escape. In this, we can also learn for ourselves that you will be put through many tests in this life. As a matter of fact, that's probably much of the purpose of this life, is to put us to tests that will strengthen us and hopefully turn us more and more towards the Lord. Sadly, many will turn away because of these tests. Then Jacob said, O God of my father Abraham, and God of my father Isaac, and the Lord who said to me, Return to your country and to your family, and I will deal well with you. I am not worthy of the least of all the mercies, of all the truth which you have shown your servant. For I crossed over this Jordan with my staff, and now I have become 2 companies. Deliver me, I pray, from the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esau, for I fear him, lest he come and attack me and the mother with my children. For you said, I will surely treat you well, and make your descendants as the sand of the sea, which cannot be numbered for multitude. So Jacob, of course, remembers the promises from Abraham and Isaac, his forefathers, his father and grandfather, basically. But this faith that they had not actually become his faith to the real strong point yet. But it's about to, because then Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him until the breaking of the day. Now when he saw that he did not prevail against him, he touched the socket of his hip, and the socket of Jacob's hip was out of joint, and he wrestled with him. And he said, Let me go, for the day breaks. But he said, I will not let you go unless you bless me. So he said to him, What is your name? And he said to Jacob. And he said, Your name shall no longer be Jacob, but Israel, for you have struggled with God and with men and have prevailed. The point here is, in the same way that Jacob struggled with the Lord, and his name was changed because he struggled with him and prevailed, the same is true with us. If we will just continue in the struggle to know the Lord, to follow him, to obey him, in the end, our names will also be changed. It speaks of this in the New Testament, that we will be given a new name. And we look for that day because this life is a struggle for every one of us. But if we prevail, if we can consistently be faithful unto the Lord, he will reward us in the end. So then we go on. It says, Then Jacob asked, saying, tell me your name, I pray. And he said, why is it that you ask about my name? And he blessed him there. So Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, for I've seen God face to face, and my life is preserved. So the last time Jacob met with the Lord, in a previous Torah portion, he said, surely the Lord is in this place, and I did not know it. And that's when, if you remember, he went to sleep on a rock and had a dream, and that he was going and seeing angels and the Son of God going up and down as on a ladder or perhaps steps. So he was seeing like an entry into heaven, and heaven coming down, if we remember. And that was where he began to change. His heart was beginning to change, and he was beginning to find his own true faith in the Lord. So Jacob's awakening consciousness, truly the Lord is in this place, and I knew it not. Last night when I arrived in this rocky, barren place, there was nothing here to suggest to me the presence of the Lord. Usually we think of the Lord in places of beauty, such as mountains, beautiful lakes, ocean shores, beautiful sunsets. We could go on and on. You can think of your special place where you like to think of the Lord. But it's different here. Note, he says, I knew it not. He was in this place and I knew it not. Last night when I arrived, I was not conscious of God's presence. It's basically what Jacob was saying. He said, I was filled with fear and anxiety. He said, behind me, and hopefully far behind me, is my brother who wants to kill me. Ahead of me is a long journey with uncertain future. Jacob, as in some of us, seemed to be struck between the fear of the past and the fear of the future. Up to this point, this was probably the darkest hour of his entire life. It was in this time of the darkest night of his life that God chose to reveal himself to him. It is sad but true that often we do not really find the comfort or the presence of God until all of our earthly crutches are taken away. That horrible dread of the future, I cannot see how I'm ever going to be able to survive. I feel so helpless. My life seems so much to be spinning out of control. I'm so weary. I'm so tired. I can't take another step. Often that is the hour that the Lord chooses to reveal himself to us. It is at this time we are most ready to listen to God. But remember, everywhere we go, God is already there. Keep that in mind as a believer. And remember, you are an ambassador for the Messiah. You are a PR person for his kingdom. 2 Corinthians 5:20 says, now then, we are ambassadors for Messiah, as though God were pleading through us. We implore you as Messiah's, on Messiah's behalf, be reconciled to God. And then in 2 Corinthians 6:1, we then, as workers together with him, also plead with you not to receive the grace of God in vain. Take the grace of God, receive it, believe on him, and follow him. And he will, as he did with Jacob, he will lead you home. I pray that you find him in your life. God bless.